Hello everybody, Patrick Glenn Nichols, Muscle Car Barn Finds, and today I'm out here in Far East Tennessee, and I heard about a plethora or a hoard or quite a few Chevelles that were stored away out here in this building in a possible LS6 that needed to be authenticated, and I come out here to authenticate this tuxedo black LS6 that's to the right of me, and I thought you guys would enjoy the rest of the Chevelles as well that is stored here and hidden out here in East Tennessee. When I say hidden, I mean they're all hidden together. They very seldom hit the streets. I do believe some of these cars are legal to drive from time to time, but most people are not aware of these cars, especially this car to the right, the solid black version, which is a real LS6, which I come to do an inspection and do an authentication inspection for the National LS6 Registry, and the car turns out to be exactly that. The car in front of you with the white stripes, there's not enough here to actually authenticate this car, but I do believe the car in front of you is an L78 car as well. But there has been a color changed to this car. It was actually champagne gold, I believe, from the factory. So we will go over these cars. I will do my best to show you all four of them fairly quick and let you see what's here. So we'll start out with this one here, which I do believe is an L78 car. It is a Cal induction car. It has not been added. There is evidence that this car is a Cal induction 70 Chevelle. This is an Atlanta car, and the build sheet isn't present because when he purchased the car, the interior was totally missing and the door panels were gone. So most of you are very aware that the build sheet for an Atlanta car would be behind the door panel. He has not checked inside of the seats, although the seats are recovered for the build sheet as of yet, but he hasn't lost hope yet. But one of the main things, this car has never been off the frame and has never had any changes as far as the gas line. We do have a single gas line, and we also have a early build, which we've been over before as well, for an L78. And most of you understand that we've been over that an L78 car must be an early car. It was only available the first 90 days. You can see the 756, the 09D for the 4th week of September, which is early, very early. And then you can see the B80, the B90, the body number, and then the code 55 and the B for the black vinyl top. So of course the car has had a color change. There has been some options and a lot of things added. It does have a 454 installed now, but you can see it's the old early style hood, and it's a nice version of that. So that has not been added. The provisions for the tack and gauges is present, and the Cal induction. So this is definitely a real super sport car, and it's showing up to be a real L78, but no engine, trans, or rear axle is present. Now we'll move on to the main reason that I come here, is the car in front of you. Now this is a real LS6 car, but there's been a lot of changes done to this car. Both quarter panels have been changed, but they are nice. The car is factory black. You can see the mirror has been added. It was a bench seat car, and the bucket seats have been added. A lot of add-ons, but that's very common for a 50-year-old car. We've been over before. That doesn't mean the car is not an authentic LS6. It just means that it has been altered in quite a few ways. One thing you should pick up on right off the bat, you can see this car did not come with Cal induction, and you see it is drilled for hood pins. In 1970, the standard Super Sport hood never had hood pins. It had to have Cal induction. If you had the standard Super Sport hood, you did not have hood pins. So what that tells you is somebody drilled this hood for the hood pins. There is a partial build sheet to this car present. This is a Arlington, Texas car. And those of you 70 Chevelle enthusiasts that we've been over before, it is very rare that a person finds a build sheet to an Arlington, Texas car. They're usually under the carpet in the floorboard by the tar paper, and that's where the partial build sheet to this car was found. A lot of things have been changed. The car did come with factory plastic inner fenders. It does have some reproduction examples in there now. You can see the car was equipped with the heavy duty cooling, and the heavy duty cooling radiator support is present. This was a 410 axle, rear axle ratio in this car. This car also is a true dual snorkel code CO on the build sheet, and that portion of the build sheet is present. Also, you can see this is a early built standard Super Sport hood, the early version as well. And this engine is not the original engine to the car. And of course, you can see some of the grills in the firewall, which are add-ons. That's not correct. They were never born with those grills. And let's run over the cow tag if we can focus. There's a lot of paint on this tag, but we'll do our best to focus on this tag. And we got the 13637. I'll show you the partial build sheet soon. And you can see the BT code, which is the code for the Arlington, Texas assembly plant, and I believe that's a 16617. I can't focus real good, but it is on the build sheet, and you can see the 1919 for tuxedo black upper and lower, and then the build date of 4th week of March 1970, and then those codes would be on the build date, scheduled number date, which is also on the build sheet. We have that. That is that portion of the build sheet is current, is present, so we will review that. Of course, you can see a lot of add-ons. The power steering is incorrect. The car didn't have power steering from the factory. This car also did not have a radio. This car was not born with a radio at all. The wheels that are currently on the car are checking out to be Oldsmobile Cutlass wheels, so they have been changed. Car did have 755 trim, which you just saw, which was a bench seat car. It has bucket seats now, and the tacking gauges were added, and the tilt steering column was added. So this car should have a bench seat and no gauges. The idiot lights are present. The original engine to this car is present, but it's not in this building, which I will have photos of that when this car is submitted to the National Registry. I'll go around the back side of the car, show you all the way around, and inside the L78 before I move on and show you some of this 66 Chevelle. The rear bumper pad is a reproduction. There's a lot of things that have been changed and altered. Even the rear axle in the car, I believe, has been changed to this car. But this is definitely an authentic LS6 Chevelle. Definitely showing up to be. The car was drag raced for a while. So if I can open this door without touching the other car. Now this car is a real 756 car, and it was born with tacking gauges. And if you notice those silver around the turn signal and the brake and the high beam, those are silver. That's incorrect. You will see that a lot of times on cars. That should not be silver. I know a lot of guys are aware of that, but some people are not. And the majority of this interior has been changed to reproduction interior. So the hope for the build sheet is very slim, but there is a possibility it could be in the bucket seat back or somewhere in the interior, but it's very slim at this point. Really nice cars. This car was gold, and this car really is black, and this is an LS6. And again, I will show you the build sheet, the partial build sheet that was found under the carpet to this car before we move on and close the video. This is a real 66 Chevelle Super Sport. There's a real regal red 66 Chevelle, but I believe it was a bench seat car. And one thing that you notice right off the bat on a real SS 66 Chevelle is these side pieces are correct. A lot of times that is never done correctly. This is black, and it should be black, like it's showing up. So let's look under the hood. This does not have the original engine in this car either. It's got a 427 in the car now, and I will show you the best I can under the hood of this car. You can see the aftermarket fan, cooling fan, electric fan. Now let's look at this real quick before we move on. Okay, 12D for the 4th week of December 1966, 66 13817 for the SS 396 body style, ATL for the Atlanta Assembly Plant, 3449 is the body number, 761 for black bench seat interior, A for black, and then group E would be for all tinted glass, 2 for group 2, L for M24 speed manual transmission. Let's see, R would be rear speaker, 5 for group 5, Y for custom deluxe seat belts, and then that L for an Atlanta car, that's specific to Atlanta car only, that only showed up early in the year, and then later on it disappeared somewhere around March. But that's Atlanta specific, and that is not part of the codes, of the option codes. So that L does show up on the early 66 Chevelles. So that's a little quick rundown of this car. Pretty neat car, and according to the owner, all of these cars run extremely well, really fast, and this 66 Chevelle, according to the owner, will just simply get all over the road. It's that powerful. And then the L78 70 over there has an LS7 engine in it, and then the actual authentic LS6 has an LS6 engine in it, but it's the later version, which is the 10 1/4 to 1, 10.25 to 1 version. A lot of you Chevelle enthusiasts are aware of those LS6s and 7s that were sold at the various Chevy dealerships across the nation, and they did not have the 291 heads, and most of them, or if not all of them, were not the 512 block version. They were another casting number, but they were sold as LS6 engines. Okay, and this 70 Chevelle is a true SS car, and you can see, of course, the stripes are incorrect, but that's pretty common on a repaint job. They're a little too thick on the stripes. It's got some reproduction parts, but this is a real car as far as a super sport car, and it was a forest green car. I do believe it had a green vinyl top. This is a triple green car from the factory. We'll check inside. It's an automatic, and this is probably the fastest of the car, but it's the most altered and the most street strip. I believe it has a 572 engine in this car. This is a really fast car according to the owner. I think this car runs way down into the low 7, high 6-second, 1/8 mile car. This is a Kansas City, Missouri 70 Chevelle Super Sport. And let's review the tag on this car while we're at it. See what we have here. All right, 713637, there we go. Kansas 51574. I believe that's a 2 for the body number. 796, that's green interior. And 45 would be, this is not forest green, this is green mist with a green G for the green vinyl top, and 01A for the first week of January 1970, and then the infamous L. So this is a really nice green car. With a big 572 engine. Some really cool 70 Chevelles out here. And this is a real cowl induction car. And there is a build sheet to this car here somewhere. It's just not where I can show it to you. And you can see the stripes are too far apart and they don't come down far enough. But that's generally what happens with a custom paint job. Okay, really cool Regal Red 66 Chevelle Super Sport. It's had some bucket seats added, a few options added, and this authentic LS6 Chevelle had quite a few options added on it as well. But it's a real dual snorkel car with the authentic CRB engine is present, just not in the engine bay to the car. So let me show you the partial build sheet to this 70 Chevelle LS6 real quick. And again, I know my followers that follow the 70 Chevelle are aware of how rare it is to have a build sheet to an Arlington, Texas assembly plant car. But you can see the LS6 and the body number that we just read off, the BT 16687, does match up. We have a partial of the VIN 220. I believe the last part of the VIN is 220765. And then the 0781 is the number that follows the build date on the car, the 4th week of March. And you see this 1919 for the tuxedo black upper and lower. You can see the 755 trim. You can see the PA radiator, which tells you it was heavy duty cooling. WO transfer N22. The RV engine for the LS6 manual trans. RW rear axle for 4:10 ratio. Some of those portions are down here are missing, but you can tell by those codes of what would have been there had that part of the build sheet remained present. And you can see the AP for the high performance fan pulley, so forth and so on. And there's a partial of the old title. So we have a really cool setup here of 4 Chevelles that are stored away here. I don't know if I would call it hidden or not, but that's what we're going to call it because they never see the light of day. Most people are not aware of this LS6 Chevelle, which will be submitted to the National LS6 Registry very soon. I'm Patrick Glenn Nichols with Patrick Glenn Nichols Muscle Car Barn Finds. I hope you enjoy this video. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you have a 70 Chevelle that you need assistance authenticating and would like my assistance with an inspection, you can contact me at pnichols26@yahoo or pnichols or Patrick Glenn Nichols Muscle Car Barn Finds on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you very much. Please comment and subscribe. I really appreciate all your participation. Thank you so much. More videos on the way.